We are Finn, Mara, Javier and Christy, and thank you for tuning in to listen to our podcast. We are so stoked to have you here with us and let you take some time out of your day to hear us discuss any things that are happening in the art world. Without further ado, let's jump into the episode. Let's roll.
I'd start this episode as I am directing it.
Since when?
I put that on my CV, podcast director. I wanted to start with a weird question to get us in the mood. Okay. My question is, what is one article of clothing that if someone wore on a date, you would instantly leave?
No clothes.
That's a good one.
You would probably want to stay.
If there was no clothes, yeah, you might.
Imagine you walk into a pub and there's this naked guy in a table, like, oh, Christy, there you are.
I don't know, but like genuinely something that really, when you see it on the other gender, you're like, or the same gender, you're like, no, that is horrific. No, I'm repulsed.
Nah.
Everything is fine.
I mean, I have things that you could wear and I would instantly marry you, but none of them are realistic, so I would never come across them in a date. Like, I don't know. Imagine I walk into a pub and the girl I'm supposed to have a date with has like a musketeer hat. I would be like, that's the one.
No, that's something I would be like, nope.
Well, that's the difference between us, Finn.
That's very good because you won't go for the same girls. Should I answer and then maybe it will help you guys see where my head's at?
Okay.
Yeah. I went on one date where he was wearing a really ugly white and red houndstooth scarf. And he took the scarf off and he put it on the table. And I remember looking at it and being like, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. I don't know what the issue is with the scarf itself, but something about it made me feel disgusted. We didn't go on another date. Then one other time I went on a date with a guy, and it's the whole outfit this time. He was sat down and he was wearing a windbreaker, but like a vintage windbreaker that he probably got from Camden Market.
Yeah.
I think that could potentially be rocked.
Yeah.
But it's really, you have to do it in a particular way.
How does a vintage windbreaker look?
It's literally like a windbreaker, but it's just oversized because it's probably from like the 80s.
Oh.
That thing. Okay, yeah. I see. I would like that. I would love it.
So you have to rock in a particular way. He was very short and like wide, like built, so it made him look like a square. Second, he was wearing jeans that were too long and crinkled at the bottom.
Oh,
he was clearly.
Oh, that's not working at all.
Beyond bothers me.
So he was short. He wore windbreakers from the 80s. Maybe he was Marty McFly, and you didn't notice.
No, and he was wearing a pair of laced-up brown boots that were not laced up to the top. So at the top, they were sort of like going like. You know,
because of the crinkled bit of the
and the crinkled bit was going inside the boot.
Oh.
Wow.
I didn't see any of that until we had already had 1,000 drinks and I stood up and I thought it's fine, like maybe this is just a bad day for him. We went dancing afterwards and he took his windbreaker off. He was wearing a vintage jumper, probably made out of polyester, black with loads of colors, and it had started to bubble, and there's nothing I hate more than a bubbled jumper. And under that, when he took that off,
wow,
he was wearing, because we were dancing, so it was quite hot. He was wearing
how many layers was he wearing?
a satin thermal t-shirt that was sort of a grey, and it was like really.
Wow.
I already forgot the first two clothing.
Moulage to his body.
I think you went on a date with one of the Beastie Boys and you didn't notice.
I was like, oh no. But those aren't anyway, I chose two things other than that. One of them is short-sleeved shirts, buttoned up.
Do you not like them?
Unless they are open with a t-shirt underneath in a cool way. If it's buttoned up and it's short-sleeve shirt,
you don't
like a work shirt.
I've got one of those and I wear them.
Because I have a lot of like funky prints on them.
Like I'm saying, literally, like when you go and you pick out a suit and it's the shirt that you get with the suit, except it's short sleeve. and it's like the kind you would wear at work if you worked in IT and nobody saw you in the basement.
Right.
If you wore that, particularly in a yellow,
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Like a Dwight
I've
kind
never
of,
s-
I've seen
Dwight from The
Ah.
Office kind of situation.
I've never seen a Dwight shirt, to be honest. I've
But
always seen them
that
in
would
white.
finish it for me. Second is acid wash jeans that are too tight. It's very Eastern European and it freaks me out.
Right.
Oh yeah, that was quite cool.
Also, I put a last one, which was if you were wearing like head to toe leather, like a leather jacket and leather trousers. I don't know why. I know no one would do that, but
So you would never marry a heavy metal singer, I believe.
probably not. Also, I don't like people who would declare their love to me through a song. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you. I
So
don't know how you. Where do you
disclaimer for the audience: Mara doesn't like anybody.
look?
She just pretends that she doesn't like this one thing, and the next episode says this other thing, but she just hates everybody on Earth.
I like when boys wear a shirt on a date or a plain colored T-shirt. I like that. Please don't overcomplicate.
Isn't that boring? Just a
No,
plain
I just
t-shirt?
want something simple. I want to know that you made an effort, but you're wearing something that's ironed.
Oh.
Well, you can iron other things.
No, but I don't know. Like, Christy, do you understand what I mean? Like, just a plain shirt or a plain white T-shirt with like a nice pair of jeans, a leather jacket. That would just, I'd marry you.
I don't understand it. I think it's really like when you talked about like the short sleeve shirt and then it's yellowish, and I was like, I literally got a mate who dresses like that, and I think it looks so cool on him.
I would need to see the context.
Yeah, so like he was wearing like a yellow, like a washed out yellow button up shirt, buttoned up, short sleeve with red joggers.
Wow.
Okay, a look, like a part-time McDonald's employee.
Just like the Spanish
Yeah.
flag.
Okay.
So, yeah, and like it worked really well. Like it looks so sick.
The thing with button-up short sleeve shirts that are black is that I instantly think of like new metal bands, because that's what everyone wore in the 2000s for some reason. When you were in a band, you just wore that, and it makes me laugh.
But why can't you just wear a long sleeve shirt that you roll up because that's sexier?
Is it?
Because it's hot.
Yeah.
It's more uncomfortable though.
But it's
Because
hot
it's
for
30
me.
degrees. It's
Well,
30 degrees.
of course, but
I
it's
just like someone well dressed, crisp, like just well turned out. Like your mum picked your outfit.
Why would you want that?
that's the most unattractive quality on anyone on earth.
My problem is that obviously, as you know, everything turns me off people. So I need someone to come absolutely standard, and then I can sort of get used to the little quirks. I like things like, it would be cool if you wore like a bowling shirt with like a t-shirt underneath, and that's cool. Do you know what I mean?
That would turn me off if the person on a date would say, "Yeah, my mom picked my outfit." I would be like, "Yeah."
Well,
And if you're like, did she pick your underwear as well?
Yeah.
I just mean that, like, he said, "Mum's this look good?" She was like, "Yeah," just like I would do.
Oh, you mean like that's even worse. So his mom
No.
checks that he's okay before he goes out.
It's just like also a good relationship with her mum. I quite like that because I have a good relationship with my mum.
That's mommy issues. I'm sorry to say.
Also,
Oh boy.
I really like an earring, but hoop, like a gold hoop, but just in one ear.
Yeah.
What kind of earring are we talking about?
Like a gold hoop, not this big, but a gold
Does it
hoop,
have
one
to be
ear.
gold?
Is it?
It could be silver. I just find that attractive. It just makes me feel like you're not scared of venturing out there and doing something a bit weird.
But if your mom doesn't check out first, that's a problem.
I don't know. I like that. I find that very attractive with the leather jacket.
So you want somebody standard, but still wanting to kind of be edgy by having an earring.
That's the most basic thing ever.
I don't know what to tell you. This is what, like, if I went on a date, that's what they're wearing, I'd be impressed. I understand. I just want her to sort of match my aesthetic also, so I can borrow half her stuff.
All right, that's what we were getting at. I see.
Yeah.
After 15 minutes, we finally got to.
Yeah, that's what you should have started with that, and now we know.
I feel like when I see that the person has put effort into their outfit, and then they just are confident, I think that's just very attractive. So that's good.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
Yeah, confidence.
what
I think
style they wear.
Okay, I'm glad we've established all of that. It was really weighing on my mind. I'm going to be talking about Tracey Emin, who is sort of like a god figure to me. I love her. I think about her every day. And I've written about her 1,003 times.
Call the police.
Um, I went to a talk recently that she gave in January at the Royal Academy, and I saw her in real life.
And you were starstruck.
I was like,
Yes.
oh my God.
She threw a shoe at her.
I did throw a shoe at her. I'm going to start with the basics, and then I'm going to discuss one work which sort of encapsulates her vibe, and then I'm going to do a picture this. Okay.
Great.
I'm ready.
So, she was born in 1963 in Margate, which is a seaside village in England. It is a bit miserable looking, but I can see why English people like it. Also, there's the Turner Gallery or Museum.
Yeah.
Turner.
So William Turner was from there?
No, or I don't know. The Turner Gallery.
The Tina Turner
Britain.
Museum?
Oh, it's Turner Contemporary.
Uh,
And it's they have like a museum there or gallery with loads of stuff. So I'd recommend going. It was really nice, and have a good coffee shop.
True.
So she's half English and half Turkish, and she came to prominence in the 90s as a young British artist, as like the bad boy of the young British artists. So I'll explain what the young British artists are. They were a group of young people who were all loosely affiliated, like they all loosely sort of knew each other. Their work was displayed in some of the more shocking exhibitions of the late 20th century. They were usually quite entrepreneurial, like Damien Hirst. They liked shock value, and they partied a lot. And because of that, the press really liked to sort of, write about them and see what was going on, all of that. So some of the most well-known artists that came out of that period are now some of the most successful and richest. Damien Hirst, who we have certain feelings about. Rachel White-Reed, who so Javier will be talking more about her. Like Jenny Savile, who does those like larger women squished against windows.
Technically portraits of her when she was pregnant. That was like a particularly huge thing.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go over My Bed because we're doing that next week, which is her most well-known work. But a work that I feel encapsulates her vibe is the 1987's Everyone I Ever Slept With, 1963 to 1995. And she describes this work as very seminal and like one of the key works in her career. So at first glance, there's 102 names that have been appliqued into this tent, like literally a camping tent. She is very lovingly stitched everyone's saying that. I feel with her work, at first you're like, oh, this is something hypersexual or a bit rude or a bit like naughty. And it sort of seems like she's boasting about a body count of people she slept with. But in fact, it's a lot more about intimacy, because this is everyone she has literally ever slept with. Like her grandma's name's up there, for example, because she shared a bed with her, because she regards this idea of like sharing a bed with someone as one of the most intimate things you can do, even if like nothing other happens. I'm going to quote what she said. Some had a shag with in bed or against the wall. Some I just slept with, like my grandma. I used to lay in her bed, hold her hand, and we used to listen to the radio together and nod off to sleep. You don't do that with someone you don't love or don't care about.
Wow.
Well, Javier looks like he was questioning that one. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Doubts.
We'll see. We'll see about that, Tracey. I mean,
So her ex-boyfriends are there, like family friends, like friends of childhood, strangers. There's loads of names there. And on the floor of the tent, it says, with myself, always myself, never forgetting. And she uses this tent as sort of like an intimate, safe space, like My Bed, which I'll be talking about next week. This is kind of like what her work's about. It's very like raw, honest, and sort of like a like a document of her feelings and thoughts at that time. And then she'll use her work to explore things like heartbreaks and traumas, like abortions and deaths, sometimes like the lost chance of being a mother and the changes over in her own body over, you know, the decades that she's been in the public eye and has been an artist. So the vibe of her work, she uses herself in it the most and her personal experiences. My favorites, nobody asked, but I'll let you know, are her gouache works on paper. And she very often accompanies these with text to express a feeling or an emotion. And sometimes she'll even title them something rather than write it in the title's always very important in her work to explain what's going on. So I also like her larger canvases. I like the color vibe, really nice and aesthetically pleasing. And examples of the titles is like Sad Shower in New York. The last thing I ever said to you was don't leave me. And then one that was called like Fuck You, Eddie. Like very to the point.
She clearly didn't listen to music with him.
Like she hated Eddie.
He was probably wearing jeans that made him look short.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing what she wanted on the date. So she's done loads of stuff like tapestries, drawings, paintings, photography, and more recently she started sculpture. And the White Cube very often have exhibitions of hers because I think they're like tight with Jay Jopling. So I really like those exhibitions. I usually go like a few times. And obviously those neon lights that like every one on Instagram posts, which I think are probably like what's more commercially successful because like all the Kardashians have one in their house.
Oh, wow.
It's also what I least like about her production.
I think it's just too like.
Was she the first person who did those? Probably not.
Oh.
Yeah, well, she even if she wasn't, it's what's just taken off, I think. And what now, if you said, "Oh, what's showed my bed," people will be like, "Don't know what that is." You show the neon lights, they'll be like, "Oh, I know what that is. I saw it on Pinterest."
But then the neon lights, there's also more and more people making something very similar, like artists.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I don't know. Would you say that it's kind of like a tribute to it, or is it just unoriginal?
Hard,
it's just unoriginal.
It does feel very like that is so her brand that if you were to copy it, it's hard to think of it as something else. I feel like it's literally if I took one of Christie's paintings and then inverted the colors on Photoshop and then was like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
What do you think? Those lights, I think people like because they're sort of like cheeky and intimate and sort of existential sometimes, very often about heartbreak. And she parallels a lot of themes in her work. Like the last exhibition at the White Cube, I can't remember what it was called, but a lot of the rooms were dedicated to her mother who had recently passed. And she was paralleling this with the abortion she had like decades earlier and like what that meant to like be a mother and be the last moments with her mother. And she was also, there was loads of stuff about like the Virgin Mary and how she's also a mother and like what that means. And then there's also loads of like parallels with like religion, sex and like sin and that kind of thing. I like her work a lot. I feel it brings me a lot of comfort. It's very honest and like the feeling you have in the moment, which you sometimes don't know how to put in your own words. And I can sometimes see these works and I'm like, oh, I understand. Like that's the feeling that I've had. And I know people will very often have that experience, maybe with a painting that is called Untitled and is abstract. But I really love works that are very like confessional and to the point and just, text and drawing combined.
Or do you just think you like works that are very intimate and very personal?
Yeah, I love that because I like talking about feelings and I like other people's feelings and it just speaks to me.
Yeah.
And I've always really liked like she'll draw with paint, and I've always preferred when I go to exhibitions of like the great masters looking at their drawings rather than their paintings. I always prefer drawings over paintings. It's Aubrey Beardsley at Tate Britain. I saw someone go to and then post the pictures from Decorative Arts and they look really nice.
Yeah.
We're so good at like recommending exhibitions. We sound so
Well,
professional.
I mean, there's so many. There's White Cube.
We
They're
came
all
prepared.
they're all showing shows for recent graduates, like maybe master's students. So there's like RCA, most of UAL and Slade, and they're all showing works, I think, this week and next
Do
week.
they usually do that, or is it because of
It's
COVID?
because of COVID, yeah. So
Oh, that's
because
so
of,
nice.
yeah, so they're all having kind of like a mini degree show in these like huge galleries. I think Saatchi also has one as well.
Oh, that's so nice. They'll get like good exposure.
Yeah, they'll get like super
Really
good
nice.
exposure. So I'm not gonna lie, maybe I should have graduated this year.
Yeah, maybe you've made a mistake.
Anyway,
So yeah, she likes these intimate spaces like tents and beds and all that kind of stuff. And I would recommend, if this speaks to you, to read the book Strangeland, which is very short. So if you're like me and you don't really enjoy reading that much, it's a good on the beach, or we can't travel, in your bed book. And it's all about her childhood and her early life and how those experiences then would later impact her artwork, because she goes back to a lot of things that were traumatic for her early in life. So like things like rape and like poverty and heartbreak, and her heritage because she is half Turkish, and growing up in Margate and like what that was like. Also, it's written in her words, although someone went over it to like fix it a bit. But the way she writes is very exactly like she is in her artworks. So it feels very genuine. I'd recommend it.
We'll link it in the.
Link in bio.
Link
It
in
came out in
bio.
like 2005. You can get it for very cheap now on Amazon, but it's short. And it has a few like drawings by her in it. And if you're like me and you like pictures in the books, that's perfect. That's what I have to say about her. I have a picture of one of her funny moments.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to discuss what I've spoken about or just at the end.
We can discuss it in the end.
yeah.
Okay, guys, relax. It's 1997, a very productive year for the Aries season, as baby Mara was born on April 14th and Finn was born the day after on the 15th. You're still upset about Princess Diana dying. You begin to form the opinion that perhaps her death was a plot because she was saying too much. You get a bad vibe. You are one in 1.5 billion people to watch her funeral on TV. You voted in the recent election, but Tony Blair is the new Prime Minister. Mother Teresa dies soon later. As they say, bad things come in threes. You decide to read the papers. Apparently Luxembourg is declared the richest country in the world. You hadn't even realized it was a country. You thought it was an extension of Holland or Belgium or whatever that area is called. You turn the page and you see O.J. Simpson was found guilty. He gave you a good vibe, so you are surprised. Feeling like your vibes are all off, you decide to switch on the TV. It's an early December morning, and you turn on Channel 4. A program called Is Painting Dead has started to discuss the post-Turner Prize events. Tracey Emin is present. Tracey Emin is present, and so are many art critics. She seems a little drunk, but this was probably her iconoclastic way of dramatizing the tension between life, art, and illusion amid the fog generated by an artist alone on TV with her critics. Her voice keeps getting louder and louder as the critics ignore her, discussing amongst themselves rudely. Finally, in a fit of frustration, she waves her hands in the air and starts swearing. She says, quote, "I'm leaving now. I want to be with my friends. I want to be with my mum. I'm going to phone her. She's going to be embarrassed about this conversation. This is live, and I don't care. I don't give a fuck about it." She ended it with, "You people aren't relating to me now. You've lost me." Emma would wake up the next day in her Shoreditch flat with a terrible headache, still wearing the black tie dress from the night before. Having mixed a bunch of painkillers with all the free booze offered by the Turner Prize organization. She would not remember until a friend called her to say she'd watched the morning rerun of the show. Thinking she's joking, you get dressed, you go out for some cigarettes. Horrified, you see the headlines and think, oh yeah, maybe my mum will be embarrassed. That's it, guys. Basically, she just went on TV and she started shouting.
Wow.
I
I feel
really
like
want
the
to see
picture
that.
of this is getting better and better every time.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I wrote it at 3 a.m. yesterday.
I mean, we lacked musical references this time, but we'll forgive you for that.
I didn't want to make it repetitive, and I wanted to make it more about actual like news events. OJ, Diana,
Luxembourg.
you know, Luxembourg.
We just lost like 51 listeners, by the way, which is approximately the population in Luxembourg.
That's what I have to say about that. I don't know how you guys feel about Tracey Emin. I know she's not everyone's favorite.
I do like her paintings. I'm not that big of a fan of her neon things, just not my kind of thing.
Yeah,
And-
agreed.
Big
Yeah.
fan of things, but I like them because I mean there is one in the St. Pancras station, so every time
Yeah.
Right.
I want my
Like
time.
when they're put in a place, it's really nice. Like she put one in a church in the north of England somewhere, and it was something weird. Like it said, like I need God, like I need sex or something, but it was in a church. I don't think that was it. I think it was nicer than that. It says I felt you and I knew you loved me. Sorry, I
Oh
didn't
my
say I
god,
need God.
that's even better than the last one.
That, and obviously the Christians were a bit upset because
Why were they upset? They
I
felt
felt-
Jesus.
if it's her doing it and she's not like outwardly Christian, I felt you. I can't because this is a family podcast.
So you think it's like teasing them, like putting a very explicit sentence and be like, now you can't think about that because you wouldn't be a Christian.
Yeah, because like the thing is, like saying that you felt someone, it doesn't have to mean like you touched someone.
I
It
mean,
could be like, I feel you, man.
at this point, I think
feel Hey God.
I think that at this point, anything anywhere close to some, explicit thing is going to be taken bad for anything related to the Catholic Church.
I know her neons are a little too commercial now. I like the text behind it, but yeah, I get what you mean. It kind of annoys me.
I'm a bigger fan of her paintings. I like a lot. I love her like very simplistic expressionism, I guess. I don't know how you define what she does, but she does this she portrays these very strong emotions and very moving images with very like simple figures and not very striking colors or
I
anything.
think the thing is, a few years ago, she was put in charge with another woman of the drawing school that's part of the Royal Academy.
Oh, okay.
And people were like, how could she? Because she can't draw. But she,
That's a social construct.
but it's like every artist where they're like, you can't draw. And they mean in the more traditional way. And many of them can, but obviously as an artist, they just choose to do a different style. So she was having to like prove that she could draw. Not that, I mean, what is drawing?
Exactly.
If you know what drawing is.
Comment down below. We don't know.
Yes.
Seriously, what is drawing?
Paste that Wikipedia definition, please.
Please, yes.
Yeah, so I like her. She's my number one. I have a mug signed by her.
Oh, nice.
I'd like her to adopt me. Start a petition.
If we get 100,000 likes, Mara's moving with Tracey Emin.
Yeah, I'll have to tell her.
No, she won't. That's the point. She'll just show up at her door with like suitcases. Hi, Mom. Hey, open the door, please.
She has a really
Saw
cool
me out.
video in like East London, Tracey Emin. There's a cool interview about her online where she kind of explains what she does in a day, and she shows her studio. It's a huge building with 4 floors, and it's really cool.
Jesus.
I want a 4th-floor studio for doing nothing, but I just want it.
She does a lot though. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do anything in the studio, but
no, you wouldn't do anything. No.
Yeah, it's a great thing about writing. You just need a laptop. That's it.
And a USB drive.
And a backup.
Maybe a coffee.
I don't have a backup.
Leon.
Well,
I'm a professional. I'm a
if you
professional.
don't have a backup, then you'll suffer like I do.
I have like my backup is a USB from the year 1964 approximately, and I copy everything I write in.
Nice.
If I have my USB. If my USB explodes, I have my laptop.
Well, I think if we have anything to conclude on, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go check out her work. There's a lot of works in the Tate Modern, and My Bed is in Tate Britain, I think.
Yeah, unless they've moved it. But
Yeah.
like, I love My Bed. I've seen it about 5 times.
Is it on
I love it.
display?
Yeah, it's like got a special room.
Oh, sick.
Okay, listen to the Turner Prize episode we did a couple of weeks ago where we chat about My Bed and explain
Yes.
more in detail.
Mara's bed.
Mara's Bed.
Mara's Bed.
It's
Like for a picture of My Bed on, I'll put it on Instagram.
And
Okay.
what?
We have a
All the
picture of all of our
paintings.
beds on Instagram.
Yeah, and we'll put a picture of all of our beds on Instagram so you could know
Oh,
I don't have a bed at the moment, but
Where do you sleep on?
where you sleep.
well, I mean, it's like Mara, like Ida's sister's roommate's bed.
oh wow.
We've been talking so much about Mara. It just,
Mara's bed.
Hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. If you especially loved our episode, we would love it if you gave it a 5-star rating and a review, and even consider taking a screenshot of this episode and posting it on your Instagram stories. That way we know that you loved it and other people can find our podcast as well. If you're not subscribed yet, again, what are you doing? Subscribe and get notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Chart Podcast, and if you want to see our faces while we talk, find us on YouTube at Chart Podcast as well. We are Chart, and we'll hope we'll meet you again at some point in the near future. Take care, Chart out.
Love you.
See you.
Love you.
Later.
Bye. Bye.